Charleston-based artist Nathan Durfee is known for his captivating pop-surrealist narratives and his intriguing use of color in his art. Today, I talk one-on-one with Nathan for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Nathan Durfee, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Oh, I appreciate it greatly. You are a Charleston-based artist who've actually garnered notoriety for your captivating pop-surrealist narratives and intriguing use of color. Let me ask you, Nathan, how would you craft your life right now using that pop-surrealist narrative?
Well, to be honest, it'd be kind of like how I'm living right now. I get to bicycle to work every day. I get to do what I love, and I get to create these fun little stories that make people laugh and smile.
What are those fun little stories that you're creating right now for people?
Some of these stories that I've created lately, actually, I can show you what I'm working on right now.
Yeah.
Funny enough, this is a collaboration between myself and another artist, Megan Lang. Pardon me, we're about to go to a live view right now.
There you go.
Megan creates these beautiful landscapes, and it's like a forestscape.
Huh.
And so essentially what I have done is turned her painting into a mural that this fun little, like, Bigfoot antlered creature is actually painting her painting.
Huh. Very interesting.
And so, art imitates life. I am hard at work painting a painter.
And how is your art intimidating this current life right now?
I think the biggest thing is I guess it's just the dichotomy. It's bittersweet. It's the idea that there's a lot of uncertainty in the world, but at the same time, there's a lot of beauty. And sometimes with that, anxiety comes some thrilling experiences. And so the idea is, it's a scary world, but that's okay.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And in this world, how has your particular art become so modern?
Sorry, so what?
Yeah, how has your art become modern?
How it's become modern?
Yeah, how modern has your art become over the past years?
Well, I was trained as a children's book illustrator. Yeah. So a lot of my stuff kind of has that whimsy, fun aesthetic. I grew up reading Where the Wild Things Are and the Bernstein Bears.
Right.
And as I started, growing my art career, it just happened that I really enjoy kind of the aesthetics of children's book illustration, but I want to treat it with the sincerity and seriousness of fine art. And so that's essentially what I've done. It started out as almost as if I'm taking pages out of these theoretical children's books and framed them and hung them up on the wall.
Wow. So what is that? And by the way, I many years ago, I wrote a book about a child being on television. Mom, I'm on TV, but it got rejected by a couple of children's book offers, so it never went through.
The publishing industry is quite cutthroat. I share your sympathies.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you talk about all of those things that you just mentioned, Nathan. So what is the state of art today?
Art's in a very exciting state. I think with almost almost with everything in the world, with the growth of internet and how fast communication happens, a lot of art is a reflection on society, and art is meant to be experienced by the public. With the internet, you can, there are forms of art that you can get to millions of people in a fraction of a second. And that's something that, we've never been able to experience in previous eras. Wow. And not only that, but because we have access to the world of art, we can find the artist that reflects our tastes. Back in the day, and I imagine that even with music, the only music you got exposed to is what you heard on the radio, or if a band happened to visit your town.
Right.
But now with streaming services and online, people promoting themselves online, you can if you're into some really obscure stuff, you'll find them, or they'll find you.
And what type of obscure stuff are you finding from an art standpoint?
From an artist standpoint, oh man, I have a hard time answering that question, because there is artwork that I enjoy, and then there's artwork that I'm inspired by. And at the same time, I'm focusing so much on what I'm doing right now that I really don't have the time to experience a lot of other stuff.
Right. And what is that art that you're actually enjoying right now, besides yours, Chris?
Geez. Hang on. That's a really great question. Kind of got me off guard here. What am I enjoying nowadays? I think like the biggest, there are some older things that I've been enjoying. I think I keep going back to Chris Ware's work. He is actually a graphic novelist and cartoonist, but he does a lot of serious stuff. He was, he's a cartoon artist, but he's also been in museum shows at the Met and the MoMA. He does covers for New Yorker, but it's just, he covers a lot of very mature topics, but they're done in the aesthetic of simple Sunday cartoon strips.
Wow.
And what I love about that is it's something that's usually meant for, a populist or almost like lowbrow aesthetic, but he's really focusing and giving it the thought and care to elevate it up. And in a way, that's sort of what I'm trying to do with my paintings.
And what is that thought and care that you are looking at to elevate your art?
The biggest thing is just the attention to detail and the time and love that's invested in these paintings. I mean, over the years, I have tried to add more detail, and inform myself to become a better painter, and so that then the paintings become better.
Sure.
And then the other idea, just recently, I have been taking cues from old masterworks like Van Gogh, Monet, Gustav Klimt, and then doing artworks inspired by them. And in a way, that's helped teach me, it helps me try to figure out what got them into the museums.
Right. Nathan, so what's the biggest difference from the time you started as an artist to right now?
I'm a lot busier. I think the biggest thing that has changed is the scope of paintings. I think starting out, I was really focused on trying to find my voice, and with that, quantity was sort of the biggest driver. And it's almost like exercising, where a lot of it, when you're first starting out, you just got to make sure that you're in the gym working out, and then as you get better and better, then you start actually focusing on certain muscles, and then making sure that you're doing more technical and more advanced workouts. And so I think that has changed, where I'm still in the studio painting, but I kind of have bigger goals in mind.
Wow. So who is Nathan Durfee in the studio?
I'm me. Actually, you can find my work. I'm at Robert Lang Studios right now, and if you can, it's a public, public business art gallery. Anytime during the hours of noon and 5, you can stop on by. Actually, or 11 and 5. Actually, right now as we speak, people can come in and say hello, and you can see me paint. I try really hard to kind of approach the idea that art is for everyone. That's sort of one of the slogans here at the gallery, and I try my best to embrace it as well. Art is such a broad, wonderful expression of creativity that, we try to take those people that are like, art isn't for me, or I couldn't do that, and just be like, hey, just like running a marathon, with practice and a little bit of time and effort, it's obtainable.
Absolutely. I know all about running marathons. So let me ask you, oh yes, Chicago and Disney World back in 2002. But let me ask you,
Wow.
oh yes, sir, absolutely. Through the grace of God, I did that. But let me ask you, Nathan, when did you find your voice with your art?
Oh, okay. You know, I believe I found my voice 2 years after I graduated from college, and really a lot. I did have sort of that children's book aesthetic, illustrator, trying to become an artist, and just through painting and painting and painting, I kind of settled on certain design choices with my paintings, particularly having like this whimsical style, but also having these squares kind of make up the form. And those things, they were, I sort of stumbled upon them, but I was purposely trying and experimenting a bunch of stuff. So, I was going to run into something eventually.
Right.
And I liked it. It was different, and other people liked it as well. And so, really, when you find something that meets those three requirements, you're onto something. So you start exploring it. That being said, I'm constantly trying to evolve and grow. And so if you look at a painting I did 15 years ago versus now, there's some wide growth in terms of narrative, in terms of painting styles. And, you can still see me, but, I've grown up a bit.
Yes, indeed. And let me ask you, what are those 5 common themes that are found in, say, whimsical art?
Oh, the themes found in whimsical art. I don't know if I can think up 5 of them, but I think with the idea of whimsy,
yes, sir,
is an aspect of I like to say that I take my whimsy very seriously, and it's that idea of those free flowing thoughts that you have. And sometimes you'll have this idea that pops in your head, but you think like, oh, that's just silly. But for me, I have that silly thought, and then I keep it. And I'm like, let's make this silly thought work. And a lot of times, it's not that silly once you really start thinking about it and massaging it, or that silly thought will lead you to a different thought, and that's the thought that you focus on. I almost, when you go to a fine restaurant and they have hot dog and tater tots on the menu, and you're like, this is a Michelin star restaurant.
Right.
If they're doing hot dogs and tater tots, they're doing something funky with it, and I want to figure out what that is.
Right.
And so I tried to be that hot dog and tater tots.
And this is what I wanted to get to as well, Nathan. But
yeah,
I mean, when you are actually painting, what set of emotions or has painting actually triggered in you?
Oh, I think the way that I look at it is the painting, the act of, there's the act of painting itself, and the emotions it triggers out of me is almost like this. It's this flow state, almost like you're dancing, where you're reacting to things and you're kind of feeling it, but at the same time, there is no real kind of conscious thought.
Right.
But on the other hand, the biggest thing with me painting is that I take the emotions that I'm feeling and I bring it to the canvas.
Sure.
So a lot of times, I don't wait for the painting to bring an emotion out of me. I'm bringing the emotions to the painting.
Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. And with those current emotions right now, what painting describes your future?
What painting describes my future? I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. I'll tell you. I'll let you know when I find out.
Right. Well, let me ask you this: which one of your current or past paintings describes you as a person?
Well, in a way, a lot of my paintings are self-portraits. Just because I really do tap into the emotions that I'm feeling at the time, and I I try to be honest when I paint. So I guess in a way, all my paintings are telling my future. I could start just going through paintings here in the studio and point out things. For example, I guess this one. Obviously, this is a painter painting, and I didn't mean to describe it more, but there's these two rabbits.
Right, the two rabbits
that are looking at the painting, and in my mind, they're it's almost like when the chef prepares the meal and then you serve it and then you're waiting for the response, chopped style.
Right.
You wait for Gordon Ramsay to give you a thumbs up or thumbs down. And then if we just kind of poke over to this painting.
Oh yeah.
This has an astronaut, his pet dog, and this little alien, and they're all kind of on this distant planet. And it's the idea that they're trying to find common ground. And what they have in common are they each have these little blue antenna on their outfits. And it's trying to find connections and similarities no matter what walk of life you are. And so in that sense, I try to find that with other people and how to connect through my artwork. I could go through all the paintings and just try to show you the humanity that I have and I'm bringing to them, but these are just the two that I have in front of me.
And so, what is that common ground in art today?
It's I'm hesitant to say this because with art, something that artists take pride in is breaking rules. And so if I try to tell you the one thing that all art has in common, there's going to be someone that's going to be like, nope, and they're going to be right.
Oh, no worries.
I do think, but maybe that is the common ground. We artists don't like to be put in boxes. And of course I say that there's going to be artists like, I love being in a box, and just to prove me wrong. But our rebels, artists look at things and they see how they're supposed to look at it, and then they try to figure out 3 other ways.
Wow. Very, very, very amazing. Well, I know you're busy. You're at the art studio, so I don't want to hold you up too much. But renowned artist, Nathan Durfee, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups. Yes.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome.